In this video, you're going to learn everything you know to start jazz improvising on jazz standards such as Fly Me to the Moon, and by the end of this video, you'll be sure to become a professional pianist. Today we're here with Cole, our piano teacher.
Hello.
And you're going to teach us how to improv.
You bet.
All right, so what is the first thing that we need to start with?
The first thing that I want you to start with is to play the melody, so you get to already know all your notes, but I want you to change some of the rhythms.
Okay. Before we get
up.
to playing the melody part, why don't we go over what the notes are for Fly Me to the Moon? So why don't we just play just the right hand melody so people know what the notes are, and just a little bit slower.
You bet.
Now that we've learned the melody, if you already know it, of course you're going to skip over that part. If you don't know it, then play it back. Now we're going to start into our first step of improvisation is rhythm improv. So how do we do this?
So basically you want to take the notes that are the melody and change them a little bit. So instead of playing what's here, you might just play those as straight beats, quarter notes.
So now that we know how to play with different rhythms on our melody hand, what would you say is our next step?
Let's scrap the melody for now. I'm just going to pick a few notes that will work throughout this piece.
Right.
And we're going to try and use some of those rhythms, but we don't have to stick to the melody anymore.
And this section is called what?
Let's call this the motif building.
So let's build our motif. So what do we need to do to start that?
The motif is just something small, and you can do it over and over and over again. And then you might decide to
expand upon that.
Right.
It's another note. Throw
Kind of
it
like
in.
a loop.
Like
right?
a
You're
loop.
building on a loop.
Exactly.
Right.
You're building your own small loop, and then if you feel like it, you can start to make it more complicated.
Right.
Let's say our motif was going to be C, A, and G. Just keep it simple with 3 notes.
C, A, and G.
So this song is in C major or A minor, and so these are pretty
diatonic sounding notes.
which means they sound very much in sync. That's why I'm going to use them over these chords. All you're trying to do is feel the rhythm and just play those notes whatever way you like.
Okay.
All right, 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
So moving forward from that, what would be our third thing that we can do to help us improv?
To branch out of that, what I want to do is I want to use those 3 notes that we started with there, the G, A, and C, and add the rest of what's called the pentatonic scale.
Okay.
So that would be D and E. So this is C, D, E, G, A.
So what is a pentatonic scale?
So penta is 5, and a scale is a pattern of notes that goes up and down a musical instrument.
Right.
It's the first note, C, the second note, D, the third note, E, and then you skip to the 5, which is G, and then the 6th, which is A. And then if you were to keep going, you would go back to C again.
Right.
And those are the 5 notes.
And this is the pentatonic scale of C.
C major pentatonic scale, yes. Now we have those 5 notes, and so the next step would be to take a brave leap into trying to make up your own melodies using those 5 notes.
Right.
So maybe you start with your motif, and then just go on a little journey up and down.
Now that we know how to do a little bit of improv with our right hand with the motifs and the pentatonics, it's time to add in our left hand. And as Cole was just telling me, chords can get a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
So what's a little bit easier version of that is bass lines?
A bass line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is a bass line easier than the chord?
You have to grab less notes, and you basically just get to follow exactly what the letters say on the page if you're reading this chart.
Okay, interesting. Let's go for it.
Okay, so just to start, what you can do is you can play the letter on the page. So the first 4 bars of this goes A, D, G, C. So you're going to play it A, D, G, and then C. And what I'm going to suggest is you do whole notes first so that you're not stressing out about the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. And maybe to practice, you just loop those first 4 bars and you start to add your let's say your motif, since you keep it simple, you got 3 notes in the right hand here, and you're gonna have to keep track of the bar that you're in. A, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2. Let's do it again with motif. D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, D. That's how I would build it.
What are some variations of bass lines that we think we can apply at an introductory level?
You want to do 1 and 5 of each chord. So you're going to make it sound like this. There's only one chord in here that wouldn't have a standard 5, but let's not even worry about that. So they're all going to have the Star Wars theme song. So now you're going to do kind of half notes. D, it's 5. G, you can go down to it's 5. C, it's 5. And if you continue through the song, you would do it all the way through.
Okay. So you always start on the letter, and then you go to its 5.
Correct. Yes. So this would be half notes. Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if you go down or up, right?
No. As long as you're staying in the lower region, because if you continuously go up,
Right.
you're not really playing a bass line anymore. But.
All right. Why don't we try that?
Okay. So let's do just the left hand then.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. A, E, D, A, G, D, C, G.
Why don't we try just doing this walking bass line of the 7 chords?
Yep.
And then using our pentatonic scale. You want to show us something like that?
Sure.
Well, this is pretty much all the skills you need to start. Pretty much, if you learn 3 of these things, 3 pieces, chords, and their pentatonics, you could very basically start gigging for elementary school kids.
Sure.
Well, if you guys like this video and want to see more, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out this video. That was so cool.